What was your biggest takeaway from last night?
Well, I'm feeling good about my pick.
I'd say you should.
They picked right up where they left off, Skip. It's going to be very difficult to stop this team because now they can really run the football. The thing is that, okay, when we set our defense, okay, what are we going to take away? We want to take away Mahomes. So what we're going to do, we're going to play coverage. So we're going to have a light box, and we're going to try to get guys up on the routes, try to play up over the top. And guess what? Edwards-Helaire, against a light box, 10 rushes, 96 yards. Skip, what he finished with, Skip? He had a good day, right?
Yeah.
25 for $138. Now, there are a couple of guys that had rushing days like that, and they either saw the stat, they either won the rushing title or they were Rookie of the Year.
Well, it's a better debut than Saquon had.
Yeah, yep. We talk about Saquon. We talk about Saquon a little later, maybe another show.
Yeah.
It's going to be very difficult to stop this team, Skip. And when you look at the numbers, Mahomes, I mean, he just ain't going to throw no interception on opening day, Skip. That just ain't going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. And he just, as Alex said, a very efficient. He should have had 4 touchdowns because Robinson dropped one. Skip, let's take a look at this. I mean, I don't know what to say about Mahomes, boy. Yeah. Show this pass.
Yeah.
He should have 4 touchdowns, Skip.
You're calling for video?
Yeah. He dropped one earlier, too. He dropped that one. You remember he had the one earlier?
Tough catch, but he dropped it.
You know what, Skip, baby? I can't believe
Shannon Sharpe would have put that in his back pocket. I got it.
So you compare Robinson to Shannon Sharpe?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Okay. But normally when we think of Chiefs, we think of quick strike. 50 yards, 60 yards, over the top, boom, gone.
I agree.
Now they're going 11 plays, 75 yards, 16 plays, 85 yards. That's the longest drive of his young career.
Okay.
As far as plays.
Yep.
And they can do that. So now they can hit you with the quick strike, and they can grind the game out.
Yep.
Skip, you know, they're the first team to win a Super Bowl, had the fewest carries in the NFL. And so now they can run it with this young kid, Edwards-Helaire. Skip, you got your work cut out for it. Now, the defense is going to have to shore up because I'm sure people are looking like, oh, David Johnson had some holes. He was running the ball. And Deshaun didn't play bad. But at the end of the day, Skip, Kansas City is just a better team than the Texans. And I don't know what Bill O'Brien was thinking. I thought David Johnson had a great debut with the Texans.
Yep.
But ain't no way I'm giving up D-Hop for David Johnson.
I'd say. If you look at Deshaun's receivers last night, Fuller caught 8, and then it just drops off the cliff.
Yeah.
And my man Kenny Stills was nowhere to be found. He had 2 targets and no catches. Brandon Cooks had 2 for 20. It just doesn't look good for the near future of the Houston Texans.
No.
Okay, my takeaway from last night was I sat back at the end of the night, and my first thought was, I got to proof of that no good Shannon Sharpe gloating about his Lakers and, quote-unquote, his Chiefs, and I still don't understand how somebody who bleeds orange, a Denver Bronco, has now jumped aboard and is driving the bandwagon of the Kansas City Chiefs, the team that you were raised in football to hate.
Yep.
Am I right about
Raiders
that?
too.
Huh?
Raiders also.
And Chiefs.
Yes.
Now you love the Chiefs.
I don't know if I love the Chiefs. I like rooting for my homeboy.
Okay, I'll give you that much. So the other thought I had at the end of the night when I sat back was, this is almost unfair. Seriously. Because I told you on the show repeatedly how much I loved Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I pushed before the draft. I was hoping Brady's new team would snatch him in the second round and that Brady would have another option to toss it to or hand it to because Clyde Edwards-Helaire can catch the football, and he was not needed to catch the ball last night, right?
Nope.
So, again, Andy Reid had the foresight, once again, to snatch him right up in the second round, and I knew it when I saw it on...
The tail end of the first. He took last pick the first
last
round.
pick. I always think of it as early second. But the point was, once he snatched him, I said... Patrick Mahomes just got even better. That's hard to fathom, but he just got even better, and it was proven out last night because look what they did. Would you believe they ran the ball 34 times as a team to only 32 passes? Andy Reid said, I'm going to run the ball. Now, it was rainy. It looked like it was off and on, and I don't know if that hurt the passing attack a bit, but the point was he ran it 2 more times than he threw it. That's because 25 carries went to the little man from LSU. And I got to throw this in real quick because I get the comparisons to MJD, Maurice Jones-Drew.
Right.
This little man already reminds me of somebody I covered for a long time. And I don't believe this is hyperbole. he's got some Emmitt Smith going on. Emmitt Smith was 5'9", 210-ish. This young man is 5'7", 207-ish.
Right.
Okay, they're out of the same mold. They run the same way. Emmitt's greatest strength was you couldn't see him. Mm-hmm. He was short enough that he would duck and dodge behind those elephant linemen that they had. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire has those Emmitt feet, those stutter steps.
Skip, I don't know if he's as good a pure runner as Emmitt was. Now, he might, because he can catch obviously he can catch the ball. And Emmitt didn't run in the offset. Skip, you know, they run a lot of, you know, that zone read and stuff like that. So he's going to be really good.
Okay,
but as far as
saying,
just pitching and then tossing it to him.
The style,
yeah.
the balance. Could we see the 27-yard run?
Oh, yeah.
Did you see the movie put on that safety that they have, that Antonio Holmes they just picked up? I'm sorry, Antonio Hamilton. Yeah. I mean, that's an Emmitt Smith little stutter step, hard cut right, where you just left him in the dust.
Well, you got no chance, Skip, because unless you playing in the box and be down there before he can put that move on you.
Yep.
But you're so worried about that Sammy Watkins and Mecole Hardman, Enrique, and Travis Kelce.
Yep.
So now we got to be on our heels worried about the pass, and the next thing you know, here's the guy running up on you.
Whew. Whoa. Okay. And by the way, speaking of Patrick Mahomes, he had an efficient night, but not a spectacular one. He threw for a grand total of 211. Does that knock your socks off? Mm-mm. Okay. But he had a QBR of 90, scale of 0 to 100 is very good because he was very efficient when he completes 24 of 32. That will work. He didn't do it. He threw no interceptions, and he threw 3 touchdown passes. Do you realize 30% of his career touchdown passes have come in the month of September? Mm-hmm. He always gets off hot, and he was hot last night. Now, my final takeaway from last night, can somebody please explain why your Kansas City Chiefs look like they were in midseason form and Bill O'Brien's Texans look like they had just finished their first virtual OTA? Am I right?
Yeah.
One team looked really well coached and well prepared on both sides of the ball, and the other team looked like it wasn't sure what was happening, and they were trying to play their way into the RPM of the game.
Well, Skip, I think you're going to see more of teams looking like the Texans than probably the Chiefs.
You're probably right.
Because you got to think about it, Skip. There's not a whole lot of tackling, and there was no preseason game.
Nope.
So now, I mean, who are we? What are we? Do we really know? So you don't get an opportunity to see who can do what and how they're going to be, and the best way you can use them. Kansas City, with the exception of Helaire, they know what they are. They know what they are.
Yep.
Everybody else is trying to figure this thing out. Like I said, I just don't think, we're going to see, and I know it's the first game, so I don't want to put too much weight in a win or a loss in the first game, but the Chiefs look good, and the Texans, Deshaun looked good.
He always looks good.
Deshaun looked really good.
I tweeted late last night, I don't care how great the Chiefs look. I love watching Deshaun compete at quarterback because he competed all night long.
And Deshaun had 3 drops. Robinson dropped 3 passes, Skip. He dropped a touchdown in the end zone, 2, which Travis Kelce ended up making. And he dropped one, dropped the pass on the sideline. So theoretically, Mahomes should have been 27 of 32.
Yep.
That's what he should have been.
Okay.
With 4 touchdowns, and probably would have had a 95 QBR.
Okay, I will buy that. Do you realize your Kansas City Chiefs had 1 penalty for 5 yards in an opener in a pandemic with no preseason?
That's unheard of.
It's unheard of, and it is a tribute to Andy Reid. I got to tell you, that means you were well-schooled, well-drilled, like over-prepared for game 1 because I said midseason form. You look like you were in playoff form.
Right. Well, Skip, no one should have really jumped off sides because, I mean, I know they had fans in the stands, but it was so sparse. They were so spread out. I mean, you could hear. I mean, you should have been able to hear everything.
They had 16,000, which is not tiny, but
16 in the stadium that holds 80.
All right, we'll get to them in just a second, but they had to start that kid, L'Jarius Sneed, at cornerback, a 4th-round pick out of Louisiana Tech, who did run 4.37. And it was clear from the start that Deshaun was going after him to fire test him. Yeah. And he stood up all night, and he did pick off the 1 interception that Deshaun threw.
Right.
And it's another one, bully for the Chiefs, Steve Spagnuolo. Their defensive unit looked even better than it did last year to my eye. It was flying. Chris Jones was flying.
Oh, yeah, Chris, yeah.
And they were all over Deshaun much of the night because I don't think Houston can protect him.
Well, that's the biggest thing, Skip. You cannot have your tight end give up a sack give up a hit to a safety on your quarterback. That cannot happen. Now, if he's trying to block Chris Jones, he's trying to block a defensive end or one of these elite-level pass-rushing linebackers, I get it. You got hell on your hand. But you cannot give up a hit that leads to an interception to a DB when you're a tight end and you're 6'3", 6'4", 250 pounds. That cannot happen.
Okay. So let's talk about what happened before the game started.
Yes.
And this is going to be played out before a lot of games this Sunday.
Yes.
How are you going to protest?
Right.
How are you going to remind everybody about the racial justice that should be top of mind in this country right here, right now?
Right.
We know what the NBA has been doing. Now it's the NFL's turn. You are on stage. Show what are you going to do? So last night, the Chiefs by themselves lined up about 30 minutes before kickoff across their end zone line, their goal line. And they watched Alicia Keys perform Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is obviously considered the Black national anthem.
Correct.
And the Texans stayed in their locker room all the way up through the national anthem.
Correct.
You good with that?
I'm good with it.
Okay. That's one way to go.
Yep.
Okay. Then they came out after the national anthem and they joined in a line. They joined the Chiefs in a line that spanned the field from goal line to goal line.
Correct.
Very impressive looking. It was reported, even the Associated Press story says, that you could hear boos.
You could.
Echo.
I heard it. Because Skip, I wanted to hear how it was going to be received, even after the PA said, let's join in unity. It's kind of like, Skip, let's bow our heads for a moment of silence, and somebody boos because you don't like the moment of silence in which you're bowing your head for. So what I'm starting to see, it wasn't about, Skip, it wasn't about the flag. It wasn't about the military. So even though we're saying we want unity, so you booing that people are trying to bring a close to racism and inequality, injustice. So you booing that. So in other words, you're telling me you for racism because the PA guy told you what it was. Join us in a moment of unity. No anthem.
Nope.
So I don't want to hear anything. Oh, so in other words, there's
that was no flag involved.
No flag involved. So in other words, Skip, there's never a right time in some people's mind for you to protest racism. It doesn't matter when. It doesn't matter how. Skip, you say, well, we want peaceful. Well, Dr. King, you can't get any more peaceful than Dr. King, and then you end up beating him and you killed him. Well, you can't get more peaceful than someone kneeling. And Skip, the PA, they joined arms. Skip, ain't nobody kneel. They joined arms, linked up, and you booed.
All the way.
All the way.
From goal line.
So in other words, Skip, you know what? It's what you're protesting, I like kind of the way it is. That's what you told me.
Okay. I am so with everything you just said, but just to be fair, I have listened back to the opening audio of that again and again, and I think I hear a few boos, but I'm not quite sure. 16,000 people, not a tiny, I mean, for a basketball crowd, that would be
that's almost a sellout.
Okay, all right. But there was some cheering. There was some like opening moment enthusiasm that you could hear growing in the crowd. Neither coach said he could hear any boos. But J.J. Watt said, I was very disappointed in the booing. So I'm going to say that validates that he at least was hearing some booing.
I think the thing is, Coach Skip, coach is always trying to take the high road. They're always going to say, hey, I didn't hear anything. Because, they always go, but the players heard. J.J. Watt is as all-American as it comes. J.J. Watt, Midwest, flag, hey, we know what he did when they had the big hurricane down in Houston. The money that he raised, he ended up winning Walter Payton Man of the Year. So I'm going to trust J.J. Watt, but I'm also going to trust my ears. I know what I heard.
I heard listen, I've faced this my whole career when I used to be a newspaper columnist on Deadline, and I was thinking, they booed or did they? Was it 5 people? Or was it 2,500 people? I don't know.
For me, I don't care if it was 1. I just want to know why you're booing. Because the PA told you why they were doing what they're doing. Said in unity. So what they're trying to do is bring attention to get equality and justice for all in America. And you boo that. So what you're trying to do is like, race A, No, we don't want you to do that here. So it's never the right time in some to end racism, to bring equality and justice for all. In some, like I said, it wasn't all 16,000, Skip. It never is. No. Just like all 16,000, when maybe 80,000, Skip, everybody doesn't stand at attention during the play of the national anthem before Colin Kaepernick. Yep. Some people go into the bathroom, hey, I got to get this last bathroom vacant. Some people go into concession. So I get it. Some people are just arriving to the stadium.
Yep.
So there's no such thing as all and every. But I'm saying there should have been none, Skip. Because if you say, if what you say is true, that you want equality and you want justice for all, and we need to change in America, why are you booing?
Because it's still out there. You know it and I know it. You know it and I know it.
Yes.
And it will be represented everywhere.
Yeah.
There's going to be that segment that is going to say, boo, no.
Yeah. At least we know what the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins say, we're not coming out. Say, we tired of all this lip service and all this playing, these slogans and hashtags and all that. We staying in until we see some change, some real change, until we see powerful people in position of authority reach across and say, hey, bro, I need you to do this solid for me.
Yep.
The people in Washington, we ain't coming out.
I thought maybe during the anthem, only Chiefs on the field. I thought more the Chiefs might kneel, which I'd been great with. I wouldn't have been surprised if all the Chiefs knew.
I only saw one, I think one.
One that was reported.
Right.
So I couldn't see the whole line exactly, but only one, and a couple of teammates had hands on shoulder pads of his. So that's going to be, as you say, role is going to be taken before these games coming up on Sunday and Sunday night.
At least for the first couple of weeks.
That's right.
And then it'll just...
And role will especially be taken on Sunday night out here at SoFi Stadium.
Yes.
The opening game. Cowboys, Rams.
They looking at you. They're going to be...
See where you are, Jerry. We're going to check your oil.
Yeah, I believe you'll definitely see more people kneel for the Cowboys than what you saw with Kansas City, because they've been waiting for this moment. Jerry had them scared for a second, there, Skip.
Yep.
And then they realized, like, hold on, he can't really do anything now because he going to catch criticism. He going to catch flack. So... let me go ahead and do it.
And it sounded like, though I never can quite interpret everything Jerry says, it sounds like he gave them the green light to do whatever they feel like doing.
He had no choice, Skip.
Yep.
Because the thing is that when you're all powerful and someone challenges you for that power, and that's what Jerry's like, he wants to think. I still, I'll let y'all do that. Jerry. They had already opened the gate. They were getting ready to leave, and before you told them, okay, it's okay to go.
Yep.
They were gone. They were finna head out. But Kansas City look good, though, Skip. Hey. They look good.
They look good, but that's 1 down and 15 to go, and it's a long season.
I know. I'm going to see if somebody else going to look good about 4 o'clock, about 4:10, 4:15 on Sunday.
Sunday?
Yeah, I'm going to see if
about
somebody
that big game on Fox? That game that's at New Orleans?
Go, Drew Breezy.
Yep.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.